Yeah. I love my HBCU. And boy, I love it, love it. I love it, love it. I love my HBCU. And man, I hope my team they won one. Yeah. I hope my team they won one. Yeah. Man. I hope my team they won one. I hope my team they won one. Yeah. I tune into the HBCU Sports Lab to see if my team won or lost. If they lost, I'm quiet as a mouse. But if they won, keep tab. I'ma do the dab, yeah. Dr. Cavil, he know what he be talking about. Mike and Charles, they know what they be talking about. They compress the analytic data with this hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they won or lost, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gon' teach a lesson.
Welcome in to Dr. Cavil's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Charles Bishop here. Wilton Jackson on my right, A.D. Drew on my left. And for a change, we have the Dean who's on assignment today. So I'll be captaining the ship, if you will. Wilton, how you doing, good brother?
I am doing pretty good, Charles. Glad to be here. What about you?
Pretty good. It was another exciting week of football action in and around HBCU athletics. A.D. Drew, what's going on, good brother?
Man, preparing to get this sprint on, man.
Yeah.
Got tropical storm Helene getting ready to come through this area where I live at, and I was already going through stuff anyway at the house, trying to pack up some stuff and everything like that. But I'm gonna be almost got a full tank of gas. I had a full tank of gas, but you know, brother had to go run around and run around.
Yeah.
I am above 3/4.
There you go.
I'm
That's
above
a good
3/4, so I could get out, I could get down, and because gas probably gonna jump up to about $4-5 when this storm comes and everything else. I just want to need to do this public service announcement for all of the fans of the Black College Sports Network. We looked at it. We realized it today talking. This storm actually affects everybody who does any type of production for the Black College Sports Network. So should the Black College Sports Network go down, now you know why. For Brian, to myself, to Roy, to Bell, to everybody who pushes the buttons here at the Black College Sports Network, it is potentially in the path of this storm.
No doubt. I mean, we will be definitely in prayer for you guys because, honestly, it is a way of life for us here in the South. Hurricane preparedness, basically from June all the way through
October.
Late October now. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So this is the state of affairs. I believe in climate change. I don't know about anybody else, but that's a whole political topic. Welcome to episode 552 of Inside the HBCU Sports Lab radio show and podcast, the show that's covering the sport in the HBCU diaspora. All things HBCU sports for the institutions large and small, from the NAIA to the NCAA. We share insights and information on the HBCU sports culture and HBCU athletic aesthetics to facilitate the story of HBCU athletic programs and the business of HBCU sports. I'm your host, Charles Bishop, along with my co-host, Wilton Jackson and A.D. Drew tonight. Mike Washington on assignment. Dr. Cavil is on assignment. We're filming from our home studios and sending a signal live to our KCOH 1230 AM studios with the Texas Radio Hall of Famer, the great Ralph Cooper, in the beautiful home of Texas Southern University from Houston, Texas. And AD, you started things off, man. We're going to get into some news and notes, but you're talking about Tropical Storm Helene. It has postponed the FAMU football game versus Alabama A&M, and this comes to us from HBCU Game Day. Florida A&M University Athletics announced today that the football team's upcoming game against Alabama A&M, initially scheduled for this weekend, has been rescheduled due to the impending arrival of Tropical Storm Helene. The game will now occur on Friday, November 29th at Ken Riley Field at Bragg Memorial Stadium, with the safety of the university community at the forefront. Acting Athletics Director Michael Smith emphasized the importance of taking necessary precautions. Huge news, because now we have a SWAC East game that has been postponed until what could be the real thick of things. You're talking about Friday post-Thanksgiving in November. Wilton, your thoughts?
I look at this and I said to myself, let me take a look at this schedule because FAMU has Mississippi Valley November 16th, Bethune Cookman, of course, everybody Florida Classic November 23rd, and then you get Alabama A&M, and that's on a short week, on a Friday.
Short week.
So it's just like anything can happen. Granted, right now on September 24th, we're not necessarily saying that Alabama A&M is a big threat to win the SWAC East. I know I'm not, but every team that potentially wants to be competing in November is essentially going to be playing well, or you hope they're going to be playing well in November. So if they are playing like well and they're giving those that rhythm or whatever, it could be interesting.
Connell Maynard just texted me. Who's that kid up there? Never mind. All right.
I'm just having fun.
Brother Drew, what are your thoughts, man?
Well, obviously, I live in the Tallahassee area, about an hour from Tallahassee, so definitely understand the concern. There's a lot of schools have decided to cancel classes as early as tomorrow to allow people to travel out of the way of the storms. But just want to give you guys a couple other games that you need to keep an eye out on that may be affected due to weather from this potential storm. Kentucky State travels to Albany State on Saturday. Tuskegee travels to Edward Waters. Depending on the path of this storm, the Jacksonville area could be affected by this particular.
Oh wow! Yeah, I mean, go ahead. Now, start taking a look at some of the map of where that hurricane is traveling. You see how many more games are affected. Go ahead, AD.
Yeah, Benedict travels to Morehouse is another game that could be affected. I'm just going down the schedule. It's coming right up. It's going to hit through Atlanta. Just depends on which side of I-75 that this storm winds up going on.
Right.
Nothing really in the CIAA should be affected. Looking at the MEAC schedule, nothing in the MEAC should be affected. We've already talked about Florida A&M hosting Alabama State. Alabama A&M, possibly Bethune hosting Alabama State, possibly, because Alabama State may not be able to travel there because of that. The storm may wind up going a little bit west and affect them in Montgomery, or the roads may be too bad for them to travel to Daytona. Those look like the key games that we need to keep an eye out on for potential news about cancellations and or postponements.
No doubt about it. A lot of decisions will have to be made here in the next couple of days in regards to those games. We take a look at some more news and notes around HBCU sports. National news. AD Drew, David Wright, man. Clark is the talk of the HBCU environment. Big news with regards to David Wright.
Before you say David Wright in my presence on any podcast, you must start with, yes, you were right. You told us so 2 years ago.
When he was at Allen.
When he was at Allen, I told you 2 years ago this kid was going to be special. And thanks to him, he has proven me right. I get a lot of stuff wrong, but I'm glad I got this one right. Pun very much intended on that one. Anyway, David Wright, along with Sean Johnson of Morehouse, Leonardo Cabrera of Clark Atlanta, who, by the way, hit the game-winning field goal. 55 yard. That would have been good from about 61. And Malachi Jones of Benedict were recognized as Players of the Week by the SIAC. We're not even going to talk about David Wright. We already knew what he did. 374 for touchdowns, 30 for 49 on completions in the comeback victory against FCS Bethune-Cookman. How about Sean Jones from Morehouse, the linebacker who, the defensive back from Morehouse, 12 tackles, 2.5 tackles for loss, and a sack as Morehouse got their first victory against somebody not named Clark Atlanta in the last 3 years.
That's big. Go ahead,
You saw the correlation, right?
Yeah, I noticed. I said you're building it up. That's a teaser. I like this.
All right. Obviously, we talked about the freshman kicker, Leonardo Cabrera, with the 55-yarder to win the game. And last but not least, Malachi Jones had a monster game as the newcomer of the week, as Benedict defeated Edward Waters 31-28, caught 4 passes, 88 yards, and three times he hit pay dirt, including the game winner for 8 yards. With no time left on the clock, we're not going to get into the controversy of that game. We have spent enough podcasts talking about how long that game was and the timing issues and the officiating questions in that particular ball game. We are not going to get into that for the sake of time, gentlemen.
Smart move, because I think we were all tired and sleepy last Thursday in regards to that game. Wilton, you got some SWAC weekly honors for me.
Yes, I do. The SWAC tab: Bethune-Cookman's Cameron Ransom, Grambling State's Brendan Barley, Florida A&M's Cameron Gillis, and Texas Southern's Quintel Quinn for SWAC football weekly honors this week. On the offensive side of the ball, Ransom was pretty impressive. On his third start, he went 22 of 31 for 382 yards and 3 touchdowns. He rushed 11 times, for 105 yards and a touchdown. On the defensive side, you got Barley tallied a nation-leading 3rd interception of the season against for Grambling against Jackson State. We all watched that game, and boy, was it a game. He has made an interception in each of Grambling's past 3 games and contributed 7 tackles for 4 solo stops against JSU. From a special team standpoint, Gillis went 4 for 4 in field goal attempts for FAMU during the non-conference outing against Troy. He converted field goals of 22, 29, 31, and 43, totaling 12 points for FAMU. And then also the newcomer in Quinn led Texas Southern with 149 rushing yards on 23 carries at Lamar in his first career start. He averaged about 6.5 yards per rushing attempt with a long run of about 37 yards.
There you have it. I see the Grambling contingent. They are in the chat. I see Lyndon Blow is giving North Carolina A&T some pure hell in the chat. I love it. Giving Alabama A&M some. This is going to be fun, man. But I tell you what, we'll take a break. We'll get into our mid-major poll. We'll take a look and see what Doc is seeing with the mid-majors. We'll be right back here on Inside the HBCU Sports Lab in a second.
It's never too early to plant the seed, to share the tradition, and instill a sense of pride in your HBCU with your little ones. HBCU Pride and Joy Children's Boutique helps you share your school spirit with a wide selection of adorable kids apparel and accessories officially licensed from your favorite HBCU. Visit hbcupridejoy.com and follow us on all social media at HBCU Pride Joy on Facebook and Twitter.
Supermarket sushi, really?
No. Wait, Troy, you work here?
I'm never not working. Like Head & Shoulders Scalp Shield technology, up to 100% dandruff protection, even between washes.
Never not working, huh?
Oh, Troy, you're such a good teacher.
Yeah, I know. Never not working. Never not working. Never, ever not working.
Are you serious?
Never not working. Dandruff protection that's never not working. Head & Shoulders Scalp Shield technology.
Hey, grab me one too.
Charmin Ultra Soft has so much cushiony softness, it's hard for your family to remember. They can use less.
Sweet pillows of softness.
This is soft.
Holy Charmin. Oh, excuse me. Roll it back, everybody. Sorry.
Charmin Ultra Soft is so cushiony soft, you'll want more, but it's so absorbent, you can use less, so it's always worth it.
Now, what did we learn about using less?
You gotta roll it back, everybody.
We all go. Why not enjoy the go with Charmin?
This is the Dean of the College of HBCU.
Compress the analytic data with your hip-hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they wanna lose, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gonna teach a lesson.
Welcome back to Inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Flanking me in the backfield tonight, Wilton Jackson and AD Drew. And
Hey Charles.
Yo,
I forgot to mention when I was doing all that stuff with David Wright. I forgot to mention the ESPN helmet sticker that he earned, man.
He did get an ESPN helmet. Yeah, he did.
I don't know how I forgot that.
Yeah. Shame on you for the same guy who told everybody that David Wright was the man. You forgot his helmet sticker.
My bad. And Emmett Jones got a question in the chat for you. I'm not gonna put it on the screen, but take a look at it when you get a chance.
What was the question? Tell me what the question was. Emmett? Why is TC playing McCoy over Jacoby Morgan, especially after?
Oh boy!
Emmett, you act like I'm on the coaching staff. Why I can answer that question? You relay the questions to who needs to be asked the question. So I like that. Good stuff, Emmett. Let's take a look at the mid-major poll this week, what Doc has in store for us. AD, if you can pull it up. Dropping out this week. Oh my God, Virginia State Trojans and the Virginia Union. But when has that happened? I have never seen this before in my time here on Inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Virginia
Somebody
State
please screenshot this.
I know you got to screenshot this. Virginia State.
This shouldn't last.
Yeah, exactly. Virginia State and Virginia Union both drop out this week. Receiving votes, actually, would be Virginia State and Virginia Union. Interestingly enough, dropping out, but they also receive votes. And look at here, the old Texas kind of steers.
Another screenshot opportunity.
Yeah, another screenshot opportunity.
Yes.
Let's start from the bottom and work our way up. Coming in at number 7, they're 1-1 and 1 on the season. Florida Memorial Lions. Tapping in at number 6, check them out, the West Virginia State Yellow Jackets. They went ham this weekend, putting up 57 points in a big win over West Liberty. They check in at number 6. Number 5 team, Fayetteville State Broncos. Nice win for Fayetteville State. 31-7 over Elizabeth City State this past weekend. Big win for them. They check in at number 5. Checking in at number 4. It is the Shaw Bears coming in at 3-1. Shaw, big win over Lincoln this past weekend, 48-14. Dr. Ville has them slotted in at number 4. Let's see who the top 3 are. I think I got an idea. Winston-Salem State, they check in at number 3 at 3-1, 1-0 in conference play. Nice win, big win over Virginia State this past weekend, 15-14. Look at the Winston-Salem State Rams, AD. Making some moves. They're interesting. Here we go. Top 2. Checking in number 2. It is the Clark Atlanta Panthers. Undefeated on the season. 3-0, 2-0 in conference play. Big win over SWAC foe Bethune-Cookman this past weekend. And the number 1 team in Dr. Ville's mid-major poll, the Johnson C. Smith Golden Bulls. 4-0 on the season. Huge win. Anytime the president got to come down and do a fireside chat with you, that's a big win. 4-0 on the season, big win over Virginia Union. Guys, what are your thoughts on Dr. Cavill's poll? Wilson, we'll start with you, bro.
You know, I'm okay with it. I'm okay with Florida Memorial at 7. A little shocked by West Virginia State, but I'm okay with that too. Fayetteville State, I'm okay. When I look at Shaw, just knowing where they were predicted to start the season and they're 3-1, I'm like, okay. You know, is this a moment where, you know, we take a screenshot to say that they're maybe could or could not be here, or is this for real? You know, and I think obviously as the season continues to unfold, we'll find that out. Somewhere, Stephen Gaither is very excited. Yeah, Winston-Salem is at number 3. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, as a person who I didn't get a chance to watch every moment of this game, but I was glad to see them get that victory.
That was a big win.
It was a huge,
I did not see
win for them.
Yeah, I thought Virginia State would get that one. That's a big win on the road. Winston-Salem State proving they are for real, and every Winston-Salem State grad that you know, their chest is a little bigger. They got to get a wider coat this week. That chest is out there.
A Superman chest.
Look like they got a bulletproof vest on or something.
Yes. Man, Ram Pride is in effect this week.
Yes.
And then Number two.
And then with Clark Atlanta, I think, it just goes without saying what an incredible job Coach Keaton is doing with the program. We can't say enough superlatives about David Wright. He's the real deal. And, I've only been on the show for a couple of months, so AD, I wasn't privy to hearing you talk about him 2 years ago. But I'll say this: the guy is he's the real deal. And for them to get a win like that against Bethune-Cookman, when I was talking with Tolly on HBCU Game Day last week, we were talking about with that game solidify some things with Clark Atlanta in terms of giving them more value on their season. I definitely think this win does, and I'm very, very, very excited to see what they continue to do in their season.
So, let me ask this question: you think Teddy Keaton Saturday night sometime got a little text from XYZ Booster? Hey, congratulations, coach! Congratulations.
Yeah, no, he definitely got some. He got some for sure. As soon as the game was over.
With the pad tap.
with the hey, we hear you about it. Yeah,
exactly.
AD, your thoughts on the top 7, bro?
All right, and this pains me to say, as somebody who has spent most of his career in the SIAC, but thank God for Clark Atlanta, because the SIAC would not be anywhere in this poll. Not only were no one else in the top 7, but no one else is even in the receiving votes category except for Clark Atlanta out of the SIAC. That hurts me as a SIAC fan, apologist, and everything else associated with the SIAC. Now, let's go to Clark Atlanta and Johnson C. Smith.
Yes, sir.
All right. Here's the debate. Because we have not seen this. There are people who have not seen a tie in their lifetime when it comes to college football. Charles, you and I have not seen this since we were going to frat parties and whatever other kind of parties were at our respective colleges, 1995. Okay. Which I'm curious is, do the voters really know how to value or devalue a tie anymore? Because you've got a Clark Atlanta team who has beaten 2 Division II opponents and an FCS opponent, but they tied to an NAIA opponent. So, is that, and I'm just asking the question out loud, is that really better than Johnson C. Smith, who's defeated a winless Tuskegee team, a Morehouse team who just got their first victory? And as you go through Johnson C's schedule, I'm just asking the question. I agree with what it looks like on paper right now. I totally agree with it. But I have to put this out here for conversation pieces. Who really has had the better schedule? Because Clark Atlanta tied with our number 17. So that should give you some value to that tie.
But that was a rain-induced. That was a weather-induced.
But I can say it was a rain-induced tie. But the fact that the score was tied, regardless how it goes, in 20 years, you won't remember that it was rain-induced. It will just be a tie. The fact that they're tied with a team who was in the top 7 when the tie occurred, which also brings, should we be giving Florida Memorial a little more of respect, because they tied against probably the arguably one of the top 2 teams in this category. Other Winston-Salem, right where I think they should be. Shaw, still little questions about the strength of their schedule. I personally had West Virginia State ahead of Fayetteville, because I think West Virginia State, despite playing one fewer, where they actually have played the same amount of games, West Virginia State has played a little bit slightly tougher competition with their 2-1 versus Fayetteville State. Plus the fact that Fayetteville State got shut out in their one game. West Virginia State lost by a large margin, but they scored. So I had to put West Virginia State ahead of Fayetteville State. Now the question is, and we'll talk about this at the end of it, will the Virginia schools get redemption this weekend? Because they have the opportunity to get some redemption. but this it's not going to be easy competition, or are we looking at the South rising?
That is a great question. Are we looking at the South rising? That is an interesting look. See, let me ask.
And the reason I say that because nobody. We talk about the SIAC not being on the schedule. Nobody from the North is on this ranking either.
Yeah, I was about to say nobody from the North. Because we've gotten used to seeing the Bowie states. You used to seeing Virginia Union. And like you said, take a snapshot. I mean, Johnson C. Smith, number 1, Clark.
Yeah,
Clark?
I'm still getting used to it. I'm happy, but I'm getting used to it.
Yes, indeed. So that's very interesting. Help me out with this, AD. Put this Johnson C. Smith win in context. They held down probably one of the top running backs in all of HBCU football and Jada Byers to under 50 yards. That was a hell of a win.
There's nothing that you can say about that particular game when you're going through and doing this. That game is ultimate respect. They came in, Johnson C, and did exactly what they needed to do because and if you're going to beat Union, you got to stop that run game. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And I want to flip over to the other Virginia team who basically did not perform. That's the best way I could put it. They did not perform in that particular ball game against Winston-Salem. Now, was that Winston-Salem dominance or was that Virginia State's lack of performance? I still need another data point from both of them to really see has the trend shifted.
Jump in, Wilson. Jump in.
I hear everything you saying, and I like to give disclaimers. I'm not gonna pretend like I've watched every single Winston-Salem State game or Virginia State game, but I really think in that game of what I saw, I think that was more of a situation of Winston-Salem State strengthening its muscle and making the stops and making the adjustments that they needed to win that game. Again, I cannot say that they are the biggest favorite to win the conference. However, in that game specifically, I think it was more of them versus Virginia State.
Interesting dialogue. I mean, that was I had 2 sort of neck snap moments this weekend when I saw the Winston-Salem State score, and the same thing when I saw the Johnson C. Smith score. On the other side of the break, we'll talk about what we saw on the major side as far as neck snaps. But, those were 2 games that really caught my eye. I was like, wow. And then I pivot to, I wonder what the polls are going to say. And then, of course, the one that everybody kind of looked at their phone twice was like, wait a second. I know when I was following that game, Bethune-Cookman was all on top of Clark. And then all of a sudden, I see this 55-yard field goal flying through the air and pandemonium. Shout out to Clark Atlanta Panthers. You're talking about a football program that had been down. And Clark and Johnson C. Smith, they are the talk of the town right now.
Yeah. I hate to throw this in, but my neck snap moment was not around HBCU football. When somebody told me James Madison was blowing North Carolina out, that was my neck snap moment.
That was the first
side of HBCU
That was another neck snap. And then I happened to be in attendance for the other neck snap was just seeing the Hail Mary from Shador. That was crazy to be a part of that pandemonium. But
didn't it remind you of something you saw at Jackson State?
I asked the question in the post game. I said, was there a deja vu moment? Because we've seen this in the Celebration Bowl, and national media was kind of looking
like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, it's like, this happened in the Celebration Bowl. Shador with a last second heave that found pay dirt to send the game into overtime. So a little bit of deja vu moment for this past weekend. Great football all around. Great commentary, fellas. Well, I'll tell you what, let's take a quick break here on Inside the HBCU Sports Lab. We'll take a look at upcoming games this week, and we'll take a quick look back at Dr. Cavill's poll from this past Sunday. We'll take a look at the major division, and we'll talk about that a little bit, and we'll get into some more football action here on Inside the HBCU Sports Lab.
Hey, grab me one too.
Ryan Fulford. AD Drew and I are co-hosts of the BCSN Sports Wrap. We talk about all things related to HBCU athletics. From the games, teams, coaches, and fan interest stories, we cover it all. You can find our shows on Facebook at BCSN Sports Wrap, YouTube at MyJBN Online, and everywhere you listen to podcasts like Anchor, Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts. You can also find the show on the Jericho Broadcast Network's app. Make sure to download. We look forward to you joining the conversation and being a part of the show.
This is the Dean of the College of HBCU Sports, Kenyatta Cavil of Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Come mix it up in the lab where the course lecture is in session every Tuesday from 6 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time on Facebook Live, YouTube Spreaker, or the BCSN app, as we discuss all things about the HBCU sports culture, including exploring the week that was in the sporting HBCU diaspora, as well as the upcoming week of HBCU sports. With me, the Dean, the College of HBCU Sports, on Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Course lecture dismissed.
Choice Hotels is a family of brands that helps you get the most for your money so you can be any traveler you want to be.
You could be a free hot breakfast hero at a comfort hotel.
Yes!
That's how you waffle.
Mr. This script got a plot twist at a Radisson hotel.
A business big leaguer.
Go for key.
Even the ultimate pool float inflator.
With 22 brands and the best value for your money, Choice Hotels has a stay for any you. Book direct at choicehotels.com, where travels come true. Gotta get the corners.
You're looking for the latest information on Southern University sports, the Southwestern Athletic Conference, and HBCU athletics. There's only one place to go. Tune in to the Carlos Brown Show, exclusively on the Black College Sports Network.
Compress the analytic data with your hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they wanna lose, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gon' teach a lesson.
Welcome back here into Inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Charles Bishop here. Wilton Jackson and AD Drew, they will flank me in the backfield for tonight's episode. Let's take a quick look back. This past Sunday, Dr. Bill dropped his major poll, and we'll take a look at the 7 through 1. Howard comes in at number 7. Jackson State drops in the poll to number 6. Morgan State with the Dusty Rose elbow to Virginia Lynchburg, 56-7. They come in at number 5. Ugh, North Carolina Central, 66 points over North Carolina A&T. They come in at number 4. FAMU, they hang tough with Troy, but they eventually drop that game to Troy, but they come in at number 3. The Grambling, the G-Man. I saw y'all in the chat. Big win over Jackson State this past weekend. They check in at number 2. And Hampton, they check in at number 1 for this week in Dr. Cavill's poll. SIDs, take a good look. Make sure you put this in your game notes, your programs, in terms of Dr. Cavill's poll for this upcoming week. But interesting slate of games, and we can start from the bottom to the top. I don't know what it is, what the Hoodoo Hampton has over Howard, but Howard just cannot overcome them. That was a big win, I think, for the Hampton Pirates and that fan base. They get to carry the mantle another year of being a real HE, Wilt.
No, they do. And believe it or not, it kind of still played out like how you thought it would be, a close game. And literally, like you said, you couldn't have said it better. And Hampton just has Howard's number. You talk about the rushing attack. You talk about what they were able to do in that game, and like they were able to have more plays and to be able to get that win. And so, you know, I know a lot of people from Howard, and they were hyped for this game. And when they saw that final score, they was like, man, like we lost to Hampton again. You know? And so like but what it does though, and it makes me think about, you know, obviously Hampton not in the MEAC anymore, in the CAA. I guess I still been going back and forth and looking at like how dominant can they be going forward. Obviously, I don't expect them to make a whole bunch of noise in the CAA, but like, how much does this win make them better? How bad is this loss for Howard?
So before conference play, get your jollies in now if you're a Hampton Pirate. Huh, AD?
Exactly. You know, I don't know what it is that Hampton has over the Theological Institute Bison. For those who don't know, that's what Howard was originally founded as. We cannot call them that by that name during the week before or the week after if they lose again. So for the remainder of this week, there will be the Theological Institute Bison. And I don't know what they have over them, but whatever it is, it's kind of like, and I'll make this personal. It's kind of like what Tuskegee has done to Morehouse over the years. They call it a classic, but is it really a classic? Is it really a rivalry when it is so one-sided? Yeah. Especially in, Wilton, you're the youngest one on this panel right here. We count the number of times that Hampton has lost in your lifetime, let alone mine and Charles's lifetime. Yeah. Now, I want to look at these first four teams on this poll because the bottom three, it's really like pick your poison. Morgan's got 2 wins, but one of them's over doggone Lynchburg. What is that? What is that?
The Christian school gets more hate than everybody else.
And Jackson State Theological Institute. Well, I call them Howard now because I'm not talking about Hampton. But one of their 2 victories are against the D2. And when you look at the people who aren't in the poll, everybody has victories against D2s. Everybody has bad losses to FCSs. So now let's look at these first 4. All 4 of them have 2 victories against like level competition, against FCS competition. So do you weigh the Division II victories by Hampton and Grambling more than you weigh the Division II, the FBS losses by Florida A&M? Just something I had to think about when I was making my vote.
Oh, that sounded so rattlery. Oh.
but it's true. And then the way that Central lost those 2 games in the middle, how was I supposed to rate that? Now, I'm gonna be honest with you. This is exactly how I rated it. But I seriously had to think about it. Do I really give them credit for those 2 Division II victories? And if I am going to give them credit, let's be real. Hampton defeated the better Division II team, Hampton and Grambling.
Let me take a look at a couple of matchups here from the top 7. I want to talk about Grambling Jackson State. 2v6 here. Jackson State, 6 turnovers in this game. Wilton, from your perspective, where did things get askew for the Tigers?
That second half. That second half. Well, really, that second half. But then also when Cam McCoy went down. And for me, when I saw that he went down, I said to myself, it's only going to be so many more times that Jacoby and Morgan is going to be able to play Superman when McCoy goes down. And with that, it's like, and I say that because while obviously Jacoby has had starter experience, anytime you plan to be the starter, your mindset is totally different going into the game. When you have to come in and back up for somebody, obviously you still want to win the game, but the mindset is different. You're thrown into fire. And I'm sure Jacoby, he did all the right things. Coaches, prepped him for this particular game. But when you look at a Grambling secondary that the previous week, if I'm not mistaken, for 6 turnovers against Texas A&M Commerce. So you knew the secondary was going to be strong anyway. So if you're Jacoby, I'm thinking like, man, the one thing I don't want to do is turn the ball over. You get 1 touchdown, and then what was next? A turnover. So I think more so of that. It was more so of Grambling secondary being really strong, but then 2, Jackson State missed some opportunities deep down in their end zone where they fumbled the ball, having turnovers and stuff. And I'm thinking like this is very uncharacteristic for them.
And it begs the question: is it the Grambling defense? They're turning over teams at record margins, playing tremendous football when you take a look at what they're doing, or was this Jackson State making mistakes? But kudos go to the victor. Grambling, big win over Jackson State, 19,000 people down there, and they did what they had to do. They turned Jackson State over, turned those points, turn those turnovers into touchdowns. So, this is going to be a very interesting matchup, taking on a very wounded Prairie View in the State Fair Classic this upcoming weekend. Other game, AD, let me ask you about this. And I've pushed the panic button now for North Carolina A&T. But they gave up 66 points to a rival. What do you make of North Carolina A&T's program right now? Because I thought rock bottom was somewhere, but this was really rock bottom for me, just as an outsider taking a look at where A&T was to where they are now.
I'm going to pull out a phrase I have not used all football season. Miakish. A&T, come on back home. Come on home to the MEAC. Because, you know, I don't know what it is about them in the CAA. Now they're recruiting, trying to compete in the CAA, which is what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to recruit to compete to win your conference. So now they're going back against former MEAC rivals, and the style of play that they have against a MEAC school is not working. Let's remember, the last 2 years in those crossover matchups between the MEAC and the CAA, the MEAC has had a winning record. That's why I say it's MEAC-ish. You know, the MEAC style. Now this year it's kind of flipped back over advantage CAA, but you know that style to beat a Central, the A&T now has to use to compete in the CAA, which they are not doing very well, by the way. You know, is not working. So A&T, come on home, baby. Come on home. We miss you over here. And can I throw something in about the SWAC?
Yeah, go for it.
We've seen in the East the last 3 years the dominance of an East team. Could we be seeing that with Grambling, where Grambling could potentially have everything sold up in October?
It becomes very interesting to kind of talk about because, and I've said this for a second or two, I just don't think anything will be settled until November, the same way that you saw Southern get beat by Jackson State, turn around the following week and knock off Prairie View. I could very easily see Prairie View knocking off Grambling next week. I mean, it is that much parity, I believe, in the league this year. But it does bring up an interesting question. Can Grambling sew things up early? Because if you're Prairie View, it's now or never this weekend. So
I don't know if Grambling can sew it up early, but I know Prairie View can pretty much get eliminated with another loss.
Pretty much.
I mean, they're essentially out of it, and
that first loss to Texas Southern hurt them bad.
Yeah.
And what about Alcorn? They went out. They got all these checks. Now they've got to come and play. And I'm just throwing it out there. Was going out getting all those checks really worth it? We gonna find out.
Yeah, because I guess the question for me with Alcorn is, are they settled at the quarterback position? I think you can ask a lot of programs that same question. So
they're not.
Very interesting. Let's take a quick break, and we'll take a look at this upcoming week's games, some games that you guys got your eyes on, and we'll close this thing out. It's been a fun look back, but let's look forward now. We'll be right back here on Inside the HBCU Sports Lab.
At AutoMasters LLC, our mission is to serve our community by providing quality automobiles at affordable prices. All of our vehicles are inspected and certified to offer you the confidence in knowing you have a quality vehicle. Our goal is to provide you with a seamless process and positive experience for your automobile purchase. Financing recommendations and specific vehicle inquiries are available at your request. You can find us at www.automasters06.com and follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Also, please feel free to contact Terrence Miles at 601-927-7794. And oh yeah, tell him Sonia sent you.
Choice Hotels is a family of brands that helps you get the most for your money so you can be any traveler you want to be.
You could be a free hot breakfast hero in a comfort hotel.
Yes!
That's how you waffle.
Mr. This script got a plot twist at a Radisson hotel.
A business big leaguer.
Go for key.
Even the ultimate pool float inflator.
With 22 brands and the best value for your money, Choice Hotels has a stay for any you. Book direct at choicehotels.com, where travels come true. Gotta get the corners.
Compress the analytic data with your hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they wanna lose, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gon' teach a lesson.
And welcome back to Inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Charles Fisher here with Wilton Jackson and AD Drew. A lot of great football action coming up this week, and we talked about it in the first segment. Weather could be the talk of the town and towards the latter part of the week as we have a tropical storm system coming through what could be Florida, Alabama, Georgia. So tune in on Thursday to see if we have any other cancellations. We already mentioned that Florida A&M has postponed their game with Alabama A&M until November 29th. So we'll be taking a look at that. But you guys, we can go in any direction. A lot of great football action is coming up week. We got Benedict at Morehouse, Bowie State. Goes down to Winston-Salem State. We got the State Fair Classic, Prairie View and Grambling, do or die there. Jackson State, they make a trip over to Texas Southern. Texas Southern, much more improved team, lost last week to Lamar, but they are running the football. They are a physical bunch. Look a little bit different from the previous iterations of Texas Southern, but we'll take it anywhere you want to go. AD, let's start off, bro. What are you taking a look at?
Let's see. The fact that the old CIAA South went 4-1 against the old CIAA North, I think that is where we need to start. And let's start off with Fayetteville State, Virginia.
There you go.
Yeah, I mean, Virginia State, the team that was picked to win the CIAA against the team that's always been in the conversation for the last 6 years. Always in the championship game for the last 6 years.
Yeah.
So can they essentially eliminate Virginia State already? Especially when you don't have divisions anymore?
Very interesting. And got to mention, number 5 ranked Fayetteville State paying a visit to Virginia State. Virginia State trying to get back into the poll. So they got a number 5 team headed down to take on, or headed up, I should say, to take on Virginia. Oh, no, that game is down in Fayetteville State. So that'll be Virginia State paying a visit to them. So very interesting looks there.
And speaking of Virginia schools, how about Union and Shaw?
Ooh.
So
there we go. Okay.
Same thing. Wilton asked the question, is Shaw for real?
Yeah.
We gonna find out, especially with Union coming off of a loss. They will have vengeance on their mind, and hopefully the Shaw Bears will take the brunt of their anger. That's what the people in that part of Virginia are hoping for. So that's another one. But it only gets better, Charles. Bowie State, Winston-Salem State.
Yeah.
This will tell us if Winston-Salem State is for real.
Yeah, it will.
Yeah. So I mean, those are the we want to call them sexy matchups. that is the beauty pageant right there.
Well, here's the interesting part. You called out the sexy matchups. Tell me a winner in those sexy matchups.
See, now you asked me to. Johnson C. Smith over Bluefield State. I'm calling that one. Let's see. Let me go ahead and let's see. I've got Virginia State, Virginia Union are at home. All the North teams are at home that I talked about. No, Winston-Salem's at home.
Winston-Salem's at home. Bowie State visits Winston-Salem. That's a 1:00 kick. We got Shaw at Virginia Union, another 1:00 kick. And then we have Fayetteville State at Virginia State. That is a 2:00 kick. You know what? We'll save it till Thursday. I'm gonna leave it out there.
I might not be on. I might not be on here Thursday because due to the weather. So I'm gonna go ahead and go out there on the limb.
Go for it.
I'm going Fayetteville State over Virginia State. Ooh. I'm going Union over Shaw. Mm-hmm. And I'm going Winston-Salem at home. So I'm taking 2 of the 3 of them at home.
You better, because the Ramuley were going to come after you if you didn't take them at home.
It won't be the first time.
AD got the mid-majors. Wilson, I'm going to give you the majors. Who you got looking on that side of the coin?
So I'm going to start with the SWAC. You know, I was one who had high hopes for Bethune-Cookman in the beginning of the season, but right now it ain't looking too good. Like, just keeping it real. So I got Alabama State winning that game if that game happens due to, you know, storm implications. But the next 2 obvious games are for sure. We already talked about them throughout the show. Prairie View and Grambling. Cameron Peters, Prairie View. Can they basically get that win against Grambling? And also a continuation of what Mickey Joseph is doing for Grambling. Can they continue a game plan, a game style of forcing turnovers into those turnovers? Because like I said, Miles Crawley, he's looking pretty good. Their defense is looking pretty good. If they can find ways to give Cameron Peters problems, Grambling takes this game, and Prairie View's in a real interesting place going into October. And of course, go ahead.
And no, I was about to say, in Prairie View, let me help you out. Let me play offensive coordinator for a second. Figure out a way to get the ball to Kobe Cavil. I'm just saying. I mean, they made mention of it in the press conference this past week. He had a catch for a 70-yard bomb for a touchdown in that game, but every time he touches the ball, something good happens with PV. You got to figure out a way to get the ball in some playmakers' hands. And yeah, Kobe Cavil is making plays for the Panthers. So you got to figure out a way to stay alive, because this is a big one this weekend for the Panthers with Grambling coming into town. Can't say enough about their Grambling defense turning teams over at a record pace. Who else you got, Will?
And the last one is the obvious. It's Jackson State and Texas Southern. Jackson State be coming off a loss, and then, you know, this is a Texas Southern team. They got that win against Prairie View week 1 and still kind of trying to bounce back, get that rhythm, you know, for them coming into, you know, what will be a new month of football for them. So you said it best at the top, Charles. This is not the same Prairie View team. I mean, this is not the same Texas Southern team we've seen in previous years to this point. And so if they can make things interesting, or better yet, if they get this win against Jackson State, boy, that would be big. It would be probably just as big as Grambling getting the win against Jackson State.
Put your eyes back in your head, Charles.
It would be huge. I mean, because when you take a look at it, Texas Southern, they're playing with their 3rd starter now behind center. He only had 10 attempts this past week. But like I said, this offensive line, they are some road graders, and they paved the way for another 100-yard back for Texas Southern. Again, they ran the ball. They were a more physical team than Prairie View in that opening win over Prairie View. So, you know, I know how Jackson State fans can be, but listen.
They better come to Houston ready.
All right. I'm just saying. Very interesting game to take a look at. So, State Fair Classic, you went with State Fair Classic and Jackson State and Texas Southern. Another interesting account to take a look at. The old Circle City Classic. Central taking on Norfolk State. This should be an interesting one. Can Walker Harris keep that momentum? You know, that's a rivalry game. You play above your head, you're playing at home, band cooking, all this good stuff. Now you go on the road against Dawson Odom's team, and does Otto King come back this weekend?
This is what week 5,
no,
right?
This is week. Yes, he had a 4 game.
Yeah, so he does come back this week.
He
slated to, at least anyway. Yeah,
he can.
Interesting. So that's another one that I'm taking a look at. So very interesting games to take a look at. Well, go ahead, Eddie.
And what did we say was the best scenario for Norfolk with Otto Coons out? 500. What is Norfolk right now? 2-2.
2-2. Very good point. So that's another good one. So a lot of great games this upcoming week. Hey guys, you guys have broken it down tremendously. Another great outing here on Inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Any final thoughts, AD?
Just want to pray for everybody within this storm, and including myself and my family, that we survive this storm. You know, it's more than an ocean. It is more than an ocean. and I know we're getting ready to go, but I have got to put this question out here for you guys, fellas, and you guys can be brief on it. Is it time for our Division II conferences, CIAA, SIAC, to mandate replay?
To mandate what?
Replay.
Yeah.
Because they've got it at the NAIA level, but we don't have it in our conferences.
No, anytime you can use technology to make the game better, by all means use it. There's probably no reason nowadays that the technology is not available in each and every stadium to go about the process of having replay. So very interesting point that you make there. It is time to make sure that no stone is left unturned in regards to make sure you get the calls right.
Well,
I agree. I mean, you start looking at all other major leagues that have it, and I mean, it's being put to good use to make sure that games are being called fairly and correctly. Not saying that technology gets every single thing right, but you stand a better chance of using it to make sure that everything is run smoothly and effectively.
No doubt about it.
Now, I just got to play the counterpoint where I know we get ready to close out. We already had a 4-hour and 15-minute game without replay, fellas. I'm going to leave it right there.
I'm going to just say this. If it's all the way on the opposite side of the field and you on TV, leave it hanging in your pocket, all right? Wilton, final thoughts, brother.
You know, I'm just excited for another week of good HBCU football. I'm interested to see, like I said, with that Jackson State Texas Southern game. I'm also looking to see what happens between Grambling and Prairie View, and then also everybody that's like AD said, everybody's in the path of the storm. Hopefully, they all stay safe, and everything will be okay.
No doubt. Prayers to everyone in the path of the storm. Of course, hurricane preparedness. Do what you need to do. Fill up the tanks. Have your hurricane kit, things of that nature. But definitely prayers to all of those in the path of the storm. Great job, guys, on this Tuesday, on this episode. We look forward to seeing you on Thursday here back on Inside the HBCU Sports Lab. We should get a little bit more of a clear vision on if there are any other games that might be postponed from this weekend. But you know how we close this thing out. AD.
Course.
Wilson.
Lecture.
Dismissed, everybody.
Travel light.